Welcome back to Alien Racing. Just got some of my parts back from powder coating from Everlast. Came out really good. Got them in wrinkled black. I also just got one control arm powder coated because the other ones were already powder coated, just one was damaged. Got that in textured black. Had them also powder coat the wiring tray and the passenger side floorboard. Here's my buddy Sean's rear diffs. They're reinforced. He got them powder coated wrinkle black. Came out super clean. On this episode, I'll be installing a whole bracket system for my drift brake, adding all the hoses. I'm going to run it in line to the rear. Also, we'll be installing the Sport windshield and modifying it to fit and weld onto the race cage. Well, let's get started. Came out good. I'm just gonna have to change the angle of it so it's more straighter. I really like it with that C channel. It should be pretty solid. Now gonna weld on some C channel onto the chassis.
Wanna be delivered to the I wanna be delivered to the rock.
welded on the nuts on the back side of the bracket. Then I cut and ground down the original bracket and changed the whole angle of it and re-welded it. I wanted to make sure the mounting bracket was welded to the chassis and not the cover. So if I need to take off this cover to service the transmission or anything, I'll be able to do that. With this setup, it's pretty strong. I'm using 3/8" bolts that are grade 8 with those spacers, so it clears that cover. Everything should clear for the e-brake cables. Had to weld on an upper plate for extra strength on the chassis, and then also added a gusset for that front bracket. Here it is all ground down. Everything should clear that tunnel cover. Between that upper and rear bracket should strengthen that chassis pretty good. Here's a side view and a rear view. Welded on those nuts on the back, so I don't have to worry about trying to tighten them. Going to grind down and weld on these tabs so they hold on the stainless steel brake lines that'll go straight to the hard lines. These are the spots that I'll be welding the tabs on. Going to run the feed hard line after the proportioning valve, which will be right here. I'm running a Wilwood adjustable proportioning valve. Here they are welded in. Here it is all complete. It should clear the e-brake and the e-brake cables and everything. There's the tabs with the retainers in there. I also wanted some storage, so I put one of those ammo cans from Harbor Freight, welded in some C-channel and angle iron, and I also could add one more storage container later if I wanted to. Looks good. Hopefully this will give you guys some ideas if you wanted to run a drift brake. If you want to run this exact setup, it's the vertical Slimeline model that's 300 millimeters by Compbrake in the UK. I used 18-inch stainless steel brake lines with those tabs. Now let's get onto the windshield. On the original Sport windshield, they bolt up right there on the bottom bracket and then onto the chassis. They also used clamps that bolt up to the bottom of that tube, but I'm going to chop all that off and weld everything on straight to that race frame. So I was thinking of trying to run it flush like this, but not completely backwards. So I'm going to grind all the brackets and then weld it so it'll be flush just like this. I'll just have to find the right angle. If you're going to do it this way, you need to grind down these welds and remove these tabs. I used a straight edge to make sure that the area I'm going to cut is going to be completely straight. That's the area that will go against the race frame. The bracket needs to be notched on the side for the roll cage and the bottom to give it the correct angle. This is the correct angle for the Sport windshield. Thanks Ryan Baker for the pick. Make sure you grind down this corner too to help with the angle. Here's what it looks like with the windshield on. I'm going to be using a thicker windshield. Time to get this thing welded in. Here's the holes that I'll be drilling to hold the windshield in place. I drilled out 1/4-inch holes. And here's a reference with measuring tape on where I put the holes at. The windshield came out just as I pictured it. Came out really good. TMR Customs makes those spiderweb gussets. If I want to remove the windshield, I'll just unbolt it. I only wanted to do a half windshield. I'm going to be running a helmet anyway when I'm driving it, even on the streets. Well, I think this wraps up this episode of Alien Racing. Subscribe if you want to follow the build, and thanks for watching.